guys. Welcome back to the Injector podcast with your host, Peggy Zapantis. And on today's Daily Dose. So, Miss Simona Delucia, I had her on episode, I think it was episode 21.
Yeah, long last year.
It was last January. And Simona's back again. But on episode 21, we titled it The Wholeness of It All. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So this episode, now fast forward, we're episode 57.
Wow.
Episode 57. 57 or 58. I have to look back myself because I'm getting myself overwhelmed. So this episode, Simona, I want to call it peptides, something with the peptides, because this is what we're gonna break this down. So what do you think the title should be? Because I'm really making you take the lead on this whole episode.
I think it should be like women longevity because peptides, lifestyle medicine, hormones, everything is tied to longevity.
Well, your title, so in case you guys don't know who Simona Delucia is, you need to follow her. At Delucia Vitality is your Instagram handle now.
Yeah.
And Simona is the women's longevity specialist. Freaking love that. Simona, so good. Because that's exactly what you do and who you are. And I think it really defines that. So I think you're right. Like the episode today, this daily dose should be what about women's vitality?
Yeah, that's perfect.
I love that
Yes.
for our listeners. So we're going to get into this episode. So Simona is a board certified nurse practitioner. You've been practicing now, 13, 14, 15 years? I can't even.
Oh my God. I think 20.
You've been.
Damn, I feel old.
But specifically in aesthetics, you kind of shifted that like the last 13 years, right?
Yes. Yes. I took completely different route,
And on our episode that we had back in January of last year, so 2025, Simona talked about how she got into the field of longevity and wellness and hormones and peptides and all this. And, she really just give a quick rundown of how you saved your husband's life.
Yes, but I got into this field mainly because of myself, because
Correct.
of my health.
Correct.
And that's the main reason I am here. But, I learned so much that, like peptides, did save my husband's life. And it's crazy if you think about it.
I know. So this episode, I talked to Simona like a month ago, maybe longer, and I said, let's do another podcast and let's really go, because right now all you hear on social media is all about the peptides, and it's kind of getting a little scary. I think it's starting to become like this wild, wild west.
Yeah.
And I said, who better to bring on? You know so much. I point everyone to you. I'm like,
thank you.
Go to Simona because
Thank you.
she just knows so much and you're so knowledgeable. So I really wanted you to come on this episode, and I'm so blessed to have such a good relationship with you that I consult with you on things, and this whole longevity world that we live in now. I think this whole biohacking, which we're going to get into. So let's just start with the basics. And the basics being, what exactly is a peptide?
Yeah. So, but let me just jump back. Like you said, everybody's talking about peptides,
Right.
And it's a madness out there. So I just want to say, peptides are not new. We had peptides in medicine over 100 years. Like I was just reading an article about Ivan Pavlov. He was studying
Yes.
he was doing research on digestion and nerve signaling, and that led to actually a peptide called secretin, and that was the first hormone peptide. And people don't know that. In 1920, insulin was discovered, and insulin is a peptide.
Right. Right.
So in 1930s, insulin was already saving lives. So it's not like, this is not new biohacking tool, or it's not like a trend that's
Right.
being done. Peptides has been in medicine forever. So, but what are peptides? So I know that your audience basically are providers,
Correct.
but also patients. A lot of patients listen to your podcast, and I do send your podcast to my patients.
Oh, thanks, Simona.
So let me just explain. So peptides are small chains of amino acids. They are basically tiny proteins that send us, like a text message to the cells. They tell the cells what to do. So think about it like your body is a house
Mhm.
and the house is damaged or needs remodeling. So what do? You hire your crew, electrician, plumbers, they go in and they know their job. Peptides are my crew. I know how they work in the body. I know what they do. So that's how I explain to my patient. And, it makes sense.
That's actually a really good analogy because I think it really breaks down like exactly what it is. Because there's peptide world, hormone world, two totally different ball games.
Yes.
And I know for myself because I've talked to you about this, like, oh, do I get into hormones? Do I get into peptides? And I'm like, I started to dabble into the hormones, and I was like, forget this shit. Like, it was just like, wait. I mean, and I come from primary care, and it's just like you're either in it or you're not. So like, hormones is a whole different ball game. Where I think, and fix me, correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think the peptides because most of us in especially in aesthetics, even primary care settings too, have dabbled into the weight loss,
Mhm.
and tirzepatide, semaglutide. Those are peptides,
Yeah, GLP-1 agonist
GLP-1s,
peptides.
so I think going into like the peptide route in a wellness clinic, like I have, is probably an easier stepping stone than going into straight hormones. Would you agree with that?
Yes, but some of the peptides are some of the hormones are actually peptides, like oxytocin is a peptide hormone. So these two worlds are connected.
They are.
They're connected, and so peptides are part of human body, and we basically make them. What's new now is how we're using the peptides in regenerative and longevity medicine. Peptides can basically repair tissues. They are good for gut health, skin health, um, metabolism, the hormone signaling. So it's very, they're important.
Yeah. I just think that here's my whole thing. And I know we're going to get more into this as we go on with this episode, but the peptide itself. So, yes, I'm getting your GLP-1s. We're using a compounding pharmacy, and I know we're going to talk more
Yeah.
about this. Um, but you're getting it from where? Like, where is it coming from?
So many peptides we make naturally in our body.
Okay.
Like for example, from the thymus gland, which is our immune system,
Right.
came thymosin beta 4. Then we have peptides that were secreted in gastric juices, which is BPC 157. That's we use for the gut health. Then we have the skin peptide that we all talk about in aesthetics, GHKCU, that came out from blood plasma. And that's a great peptide for wound healing, skin health, for hair. Some peptides came from the mitochondria, like MAT-C. So yeah, we make these peptides in our body. But what happened? The scientists took these natural fragments and they make synthetic peptides and they start studying them. And
Mm.
some of these peptides, they don't have like big human trials behind them, but like we have in traditional medicine. But that doesn't mean they are bad.
So they're synthetic peptides is really what they are because we're getting it exogenously, outside source. So it's coming from where or what? And I think that's probably my biggest concern and hesitation. Like, where is it actually coming from?
Well, the pharmacies and the labs they making them, but we producing them in our body.
And it's made in a lab from like a plant base, from an animal base, from a human base, and then we're injecting it. So that's where I get confused is like where the source is coming from. Cause like let's just talk about like NAD. NAD, everyone hears about NAD.
Hmm.
Correct me if I'm saying it wrong. Nidiacine, adenine,
And then yeah, I guess
dinucleotide. Did I say it right?
yeah,
It's
it's
long.
a long world
So NAD is that ATP
production. Yeah,
production.
like they are basically the energy of our cells, the mitochondria, the repairing mitochondria. But you gotta be careful with NAD because people using like a green juice out there.
They are.
NAD is good, but it can wake up the bad cells.
It can right. And we've had our own
Yeah.
conversation with this. But let's just use NAD as this example where like where is that NAD coming from? Is it coming from are they just making it in a lab? Like what do they get? How do they just make it?
We should have a scientist. Like, yeah,
It's
they
like so they make it, they form this and then, you know, fine. So you're creating this and then you're injecting it. So I guess I mean the truth is like you need to make sure you know what lab you're getting it from.
yeah, and we definitely go over it. I want to discuss this,
Yeah,
but I
me too.
always want to say, and I'm very clear about this in my practice that peptides are not for everyone.
Mhm.
Peptides are not magic. Basically, some people can have reaction to them. People who have high histamine levels, people who have basically high inflammation. Perimenopause women with chronic stress have already high inflammation. So if you have a patient who suffers from headache, anxiety, muscle issues, skin sensitivity, they can have develop reaction to these peptides, and that's when they can have um, injection reaction. They can have itching, palpitation. Some people say they feeling like wired, and
Wow. So okay, so how many peptides? Well, there's two questions I have for you. First is how many peptides are there that you know of that are accessible in an exogenous form, like an outside form to give, to the patient? How many are there?
oh god, a lot.
Like 100?
Yeah, I think more than 100.
And we only hear the most popular ones, which are the
GLP-1s, that's
GLP-1s.
what everybody,
Mhm.
but GLP-1s are not new. They've been here forever.
Ever.
It's just Kim Kardashian started doing, and I think that's where it blew up.
Right.
But then you have the GHKCO and aesthetics, cream. You can now they're putting that in the cream forms. Um, then we have
The BPC 157.
BPC 157. So I want to, these peptides like BPC 157, and I want to actually say this that in, pep like in 2023, the FDA actually moved 19 peptides to category 2. And that's um, that's where we couldn't basically prescribe them.
We could.
We couldn't. We could
Could
not.
not because it was
They
going to a
Yeah.
category 2.
And recently, Robert um, JFK RFK Jr. was on the
Correct.
podcast with Joe Rogan, and he says that these peptides were moved into the category 2 without any safe, there was really no safety concerns. So hopefully, I don't know, the FDA didn't announce anything yet, but
Right.
hopefully they will be moving these peptides back, to, and I want to go over the categories too. But, you know, back to when said, do not prescribe these peptides to everybody.
Right.
Like in my practice at Delucia Vitality, I look at inflammation, gut health. I ask everybody, did you poop today? I look at stress levels. Um, I ask all my patients about autoimmune,
Right, right,
diseases, like
right.
what you have. So
You go through the history because that was my second question to you. So one was like, how many peptides are there? There's a ton, things that we don't even know about, and you're going to talk about how to find out and do courses and all that.
yeah,
My second question is though, Simona, is how do I know I need a peptide? There's no blood test, right? Like we're not testing anyone.
no, there is no, and I do, I require blood test for all my patients. There is no exceptions. So when you come to me, and some people come to me and they said, hey, I just wanted this peptide. Like, why you want this peptide? You
Right.
know what I mean? What makes you think? You saw it on social media, and
Yeah, who's telling you that you're okay, your body's okay to take that?
so I do very intensive blood work. I check all hormones, thyroid hormones. I checked, kidney function, liver function, C-reactive protein, ferritin, vitamins. Like I go deep and I want
Yeah.
to find a root cause of the problem. So if it's your gut, because most of our problem stems from the gut,
Mhm, mhm.
then maybe BPC 157 will be a good peptide for you.
Right.
So we can adjust, and everybody wants GLP-1s, why you want a GLP-1? Like, I want to lose weight. Everybody, I want
Yeah.
to lose weight. My friend does it. She lost. Don't look at your friend. Your body is not your friend's body. We have to, if I find that you have, and I do GI map on most of my patients,
What does that entail?
that basically shows what's in your gut, bacteria, any any basically if you have any inflammation, if you have dysbiosis, if you have H. pylori. So I have to fix your gut first before I give you any peptides.
Wow.
Like, you don't want to add peptides to this chaos of your body, you know?
It's called GI mapping.
Yeah, GI mapping. And it's a stool test. So I basically prescribe the test. It's shipped to my patient's house. They follow the instructions and they ship it back and I get the results.
And on that GI mapping, it's testing what?
Bacteria, which you have high, overgrowth bacteria in your body. And with GLP-1s especially, if GLP-1 slows down the gastric
Emptying.
emptying.
Right.
So it sits in your stomach. The food sits there longer. So bacteria grows more.
Wow.
And if you have dysbiosis, if you have high bacteria in your stomach, you don't feel good. And that's why many people on GLP-1 says, I don't feel good. I'm nauseous. I have gastric reflux. So
Yeah.
I got to fix your gut before anything else.
Right. Right. Well, that's crazy because I've always said, like, who's to tell you that you need something? Like, I'm interested in the BPC 157. I'm very interested in it for like inflammation,
Mhm.
right? It's going to help inflammation. Where does BPC 157 stem from?
From the gastric juices.
So,
you have it. You have it in you. And if you are stressed, which I think you are, because I see you running all over the place.
I run stress. I run on this high stress.
Yeah.
Right.
So your body is always in flight or fight.
Yes.
And stress, people on high stress, you can have like these holes in your intestine that stuff leak into your body, and many people have gluten sensitivity, and that causes inflammation. So BPC 157 can heal the gut and close the holes, so you feel better.
So let's take someone because I have autoimmune in my family. My mother is Crohn's and my brother is ulcerative colitis.
Mhm.
So let's just say if a patient is starting to have, I don't know, they have some GI things going on, and they were to take something like a BPC 157, could that mask a true symptom of a colitis or a Crohn's?
Actually, it will heal.
It would heal it.
Yeah, but you cannot just give BPC 157 by itself. You have to give probiotics. You have to know what probiotics the patient needs because, and that's why GI map comes hand to hand, like in hand, because I see what bacteria the patient has. So I give probiotics for that bacteria.
Wow. So is a patient that does have something like a GI inflammatory, issue that they're dealing with, if they were to take BPC 157 in addition to their medications that they're getting monthly or bi-monthly for their autoimmune, could that interact with it?
No, it doesn't interact.
It does not interact with other medications.
No.
So in addition to, this is something that they can also take to keep their symptoms suppressed.
Yeah, and GLP-1s are very good for inflammation. I rarely prescribe it for weight loss.
So it's good for inflammation.
Inflammation, sleep apnea. It was actually FDA approved for sleep apnea for people who have addictions.
Addiction,
Oh my God,
right.
like people stop drinking alcohol.
Oh yeah.
People with Hashimoto, like myself, like GLP-1 was, it's amazing.
So the GI mapping sounds like it's a great test to test, like you said, BPC 157, maybe some of your GLPs. But what about some of the other peptides? The skin peptide,
The GHKCU,
GHKCU.
And I don't know if you notice, but when people on GLP-1, and if you have any of your patients, they get this skin laxity, like the neck
Right.
looks very, wrinkled.
Right.
That's where GHKCU comes in hand. And I actually, you can combine estradiol hormone with the GHKCU and basically put it on your face and neck
Topically?
topically.
So it's a topical product because you're
Yes.
using the estradiol, you said?
Yes.
Using estradiol with
GHKCU.
GHKCU topically
Yes.
at the same time, mixed together, or would
It's mixed, it's compounded
it's
together.
compounded together, put it on topically every single day,
Yes.
night
Night, yeah.
before bed, and that would help with laxity. And it's a skin peptide.
Skin peptide, yeah.
Now, can you take it as an injectable?
Yes. However, the FDA, like I said, we moved it to category 2. So we have to wait when it's moved to category 1. And, sourcing matter. Like, let's talk about the
source doesn't matter.
sources. Where are we getting these peptides? Because not all peptides are created equal. And there are two main ways we can get peptides. So one is from the compounding pharmacies.
Okay.
And these are licensed pharmacies where they can ship basically they ship the peptides to the patient.
Got it.
Um,
So the pharmacies. Okay, wait, before we get into the pharmacies, we're gonna take one quick break because I think this is gonna start opening up like our whole other topic that we want to get into, compounding versus the lab. So right after this quick break, and we will be right back. Back here on the Injector podcast with Simona Delucia, who's the women's longevity specialist. She knows anything and everything you want. In my opinion, I think you know anything and everything. So let's talk about these pharmacies and compounding pharmacies, because I know there's like a lot of information out there right now. So talk to me about how people are getting their peptides.
so, like I said, compounding pharmacies, these are licensed pharmacies that make medication for individual patients. I am very particular who I use for my compounding pharmacies. I know the pharmacists. I know them personally. I can call them. I can ask any questions. So, so that's one route. And then you have the research labs, and that's these are basically the peptides are labeled not for human consumption or not for human use,
Correct.
and this is where people get in trouble. So when I prescribe my peptides and when I ask my pharmacies, when I basically open an account with my pharmacy and I feel like I'm marrying my pharmacies,
Yeah.
I ask for these things, and I brought notes so I get this right. I ask for a certificate of an analysis, which is proof of what's actually in it. I ask for sterility testing reports, endotoxin testing to make sure there's no bacterial contamination, and potency testing after it has been compounded. Because the risk isn't just the peptide, the risk is contamination, incorrect doses, or poor manufacturing. And we see it on social media. Oh my God, like I see, patients compounding these peptides in their kitchen, they adding the bacteriostatic water in non-sterile environment. Or I do see some of the providers that injecting themselves, and the vial is they posting the vials, and
And it
I am
literally says
like,
not for human use on the vial.
yes.
Like,
And
what are
I
we
am
doing here?
like, that's where the harm happens, and that's why in 2023 the FDA made those changes. And
So let's talk about the changes because I want to understand them a little bit better.
the categories,
So there's categories 1 through 5.
it's 1 to 3.
Okay.
So category 1, so the FDA 503A book list determine which substances may be compounded.
Got it.
So you have category 1, that means under evaluation and may be compounded while reviewed. Then you have category 2, and that's significant safety concern, so it's not permitted. Category 3, it's insufficient information, not permitted. But the category 1 does not mean FDA approval. So, the regulatory environment is changing rapidly, like, oh my God, almost daily. Right now, I think it was the peptide science 2 days ago. I don't know if you saw it on social media. They just shut down. So the peptide science was a website that people basically were purchasing the research peptides from. So FDA is coming, there will be a lot of regulations, and as a providers, we have to stay current, or we will risk practicing outside of compliance.
So if you want, so I guess category one is where you want to be at. So
Yes.
going back to what you were saying about
So
the
there was 19 peptides in category one,
okay,
BPC 15. This is injectables. BPC 157, GHKCU, MATSI, um, thymosin beta 4, I think. There was a lot of them, that ipamorelin, CJC 1295, that were moved from category one to category two. So now, on that podcast, that was, RFK Jr. said that they were moved, basically, they shouldn't be there. So we're just waiting. He said he will move them back. So we are all just waiting to see what will happen.
so
And
being that they're in category two, what does that mean for us as providers? We cannot prescribe them,
yeah,
but category one, we were able to
yes,
prescribe.
because the compounding pharmacies were able to compound it. And that's when they moved them, you saw a lot of compounding pharmacies stop producing these peptides. So what we see on social media, you know, it's I don't know, like there are medical practices that are being fined for not for bad intentions, but not for understanding these regulation.
Right.
So in 2023, 2026, I think the regulators care about possession, sourcing, documentation, and medical necessity. Like we have to, as a providers,
Yeah.
make sure I would be careful with peptides that states not for human use.
Absolutely.
While white label, non-pharmacy sourcing, trend-driven peptides that we see all over social media, or people selling them in the gym,
Right. Right.
and like retatrutide, which I get questioned about these peptides on daily basis. So retatrutide is, I believe it will be amazing peptide. Like it has so many potential. I saw yesterday that actually decrease growth of cancer tumors, which like,
I
oh my
believe
God,
it. I
mind
believe it.
blowing.
Yeah.
Um, but this peptide, it's still in clinical trials. So it's not available for the public.
Right.
However, you see everywhere people are,
Yeah.
you
Where are they
using
getting it
it.
from? They're getting it from a lab.
So they're doing, who knows, black market out there. That means that this peptide it's not regulated. We don't know what's in it. Um, I always say to my patients, if I don't inject it in my body, I
Right.
am not injecting it in your body. So anything being sold right now, it's not coming from the FDA approval source. So
So,
it's
Simona, what peptides then are still in that category one that patients can receive and providers can?
so GLP-1s,
Okay.
semaglutide, tirzepatide. Um, then depends what form is it. Like GHKCU, if it's in the
Topical.
topical, yes. BPC 157 oral, for example,
Oral.
oral. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, hopefully, I'm hoping, because I know these peptides, I see it with my own two eyes, how great they are.
Mhm.
So we are waiting for them to be moved.
And then what's another popular one?
Um, what's out there right now? Can I
Like
remember?
when they say when they're stacking peptides for like that glow, the
Yeah,
skin glow. What
the
is that stack?
GHKCU, BPC 157, and TB 500.
I have to
Um,
be 500.
that technically it's in category two because it's an injection.
Yeah. And I also heard recently that that's not also a very good protocol because you're not allowing each product to do what it needs to do.
Exactly.
You're doing them all at once, injecting it all at once, and they get confused. And then the copper from the G
GHKCU.
GHKCU then counteracts and doesn't let the other cell talk to each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
So it's like a total it's
So, and
worthless.
yeah, so when you stack all these peptides, they lose the potency, like
Right.
GHKCU like works better by itself. And again, it's a copper peptide. So how do you know if the patient, some people have a copper sensitivity.
You don't.
You don't know. You can have anaphylactic reactions. And I know people personally who this happened to. So, vendors will not protect our license.
No.
Influencers
No.
will not go and testify for us. Like if you feel like you want to go in front of the boards and basically say why you gave this patient these peptides and you have, great
Oh
reasons.
my
Like,
God.
I don't
That's
know.
so scary.
I recommend sourcing from compounding pharmacies, tied to real medical indication. Don't put not for fat burning. You know,
Right.
make
Right.
sure you understand the pathways and respect the regulations. I believe that the peptides exploded because of social media, biohacking. Like
Yeah.
it's been crazy.
Well, let's take one quick break. And then when we come back, I do want to go into that whole biohacking
And
world.
longevity.
Yeah. And longevity. Okay. We'll be right back after this quick break. Okay. Back here on the Injector podcast. So, Simona, talk to me about this biohacking. What does that even mean? What is what
Biohacking,
is that?
biohacking,
Biohacking.
red light therapy,
Yeah.
cold plunging,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But at Delucia Vitality, my practice, I focus primarily on women navigating through midlife.
Mhm.
In your 40s and your 50s, hormone shift, muscle mass decline, this our sleep is garbage, nobody can sleep.
Right.
Inflammation rises and recovery slows down. So peptides may support recovery, muscle preservation, and metabolic flexibility, but they are never the foundation. So they cannot override poor sleep, protein intake, chronic stress, and gut dysbiosis. And also, I tell my patients, like, I will help you, but you have to help me.
Yeah.
So I am a member of Lifestyle Medicine Initiative within the Global Wellness Institute, which I am so happy to be part of this because I actually am learning from the world and I meet a lot of physicians in different countries, and we meet every month and discuss, what's going on. And the data in the world shows that sleep, strength training, stress regulation, and connection has more evidence than any peptides out there. So no peptide outperform lifestyle. And I don't know if you saw my story this weekend. I was so proud of everybody. I said go outside and take your shoes off for 15 minutes, and I want to see everybody's feet in the grass. And people were tagging me, people were like in the sand. So hopefully I will my goal is to go global. And
I love that.
I want to, because lifestyle medicine, and that's also my plan. I'm finishing Chinese medicine certification because I think it's amazing.
Right.
And then I'm hopping on the Blue Zone certification.
The blue zone.
Yeah, because listen, these people have it down. Lifestyle, what we eat, what we do, and as a providers, you have to practice what you preach.
Yes, you have to. And that's also giving good quality care and like wanting the best for your patients. That's why I'm with you on all
Yeah,
of
what do
this
you do?
stuff.
Tell me. I want to know what
No,
you do for yourself.
for myself, oh my gosh, I need to go. First of all, I need to start with a massage. I've had a knot in my neck since January 29th, and I can't even get over to the masseuse. But that's besides the point. I honestly, yeah, I work out. I do think that the foundation, like I've been working out since I was like 13. No joke. Like for my 13th or 14th birthday, I asked for a personal trainer. And like that was what I wanted for myself. So that lifestyle has been with me. And I do genuinely feel like from the bottom of my heart, like that's because of that foundation of exercising and staying active is why well, one, I do run on high energy. People are like, "Oh my gosh, you're all over the place." But I've just my body is used to that. I'm used to putting myself in a stressful environment. I've done boot camp classes my whole life. So like that's helped me.
Yeah, you
It
work great under stress, I think.
I work
Yeah.
really good under stress. When I COVID, I go I get into a depression. my body shuts down and I'm like, when I don't have anything else going on and what the next thing is, I'm kind of like in a panic mode. Like
Yeah,
that's
and
my flight.
everybody's different. So, for example, me, I eat breakfast outside every morning. Like, soon as I wake up, I want the sun. We are
Yeah.
lucky we're in Florida, but the light hits me within 30 minutes. And that is resetting my circadian rhythm. Like, I've been practicing this for years and it makes a difference.
Wow.
So, and I meditate every day. I use my Shakti mat that has spikes. I finally graduated to level 4. So I do that. I got an infrared sauna in my house that I basically sit 4 times a week.
Hmm.
Um, and I try to go outside every day. I have 2 German shepherds, which they're like clockwork.
Yeah,
Soon as
yeah.
they eat, we have to do this. Like, we have to practice the lifestyle. And my patients, I tell them, if you don't do what I'm telling you, and I might not be the provider for you.
Well, it's true because there's something to say about that, like the Mediterranean lifestyle. So, like, we can sit here and laugh all we want. I mean, okay, I go to Greece, right? Like, we go there, go to this country. Like, it's a very, they work during the summers because
Hmm.
that's when it's their season. And then they're pretty much off for 6 months and like just sitting
Yeah.
around, very low work, if any work, and we laugh, but here in America, we're just used to running in chaos.
Like, my
And it's not
mom was just
healthy.
here. I don't know. My mom just flew on 12-hour flight. She for my daughter's wedding, and while she was here, she turned 80. And everybody's texting me, "Oh my God, I can't believe your mom is 80. She looks amazing." My mom is, she lives in the Czech Republic.
Right.
I will call this town Blue Zone because it's a small town in middle of, country. We
Yeah,
have river going in front of my house. My mom does yoga at age 80 every week. She walks to the store every day,
that's it.
even if she needs one, piece of bread or something. But they go up the hill, they don't go down the hill. They eat, from their own garden.
Right.
They grow their own
This is
vegetable,
this is it. That's the foundation.
which I start. I start my own garden, and
And let me tell you, Simona, when I go to
mm,
Greece, like I watch my dairy intake big time. Like, okay, right now we're during Lent, so I am eating a little bit more dairy than I would be not fasting because I'm not having red meat or any meat right now. So, but typically I don't eat dairy. And over there, it doesn't affect me at all. I could eat
yeah,
anything, and I feel I come back at least 5 pounds lighter from Greece.
I can tell you, when I moved to this country, I was like 17 from Czech Republic. My stomach, I was in so much pain. Like,
Yeah,
it was, I don't know what was wrong with me. And gluten. I have a
it's the
gluten
gluten,
sensitivity, but when I go to Italy, I can have pizza, pasta, everything, and I don't have that
right?
problem. So it's the food that we eat here.
I agree with that. I agree with that completely. So you really get your patients like on board with like the whole thing.
Somebody asked me, "What's your niche?" Like, everybody should have some, like,
Yeah.
peptides. Like we said, wholeness of it all. I care about the whole body. Like, you get hormones. If you need peptides, great supplements. But I can give you all these great hormones, supplements. But if you don't do the lifestyle, and everybody gets food plan, I make food plan for my patients.
And how do you do that?
So there is, you can go on. I use Rupa, which is
Which one?
rupa.com.
Rupa.com.
And it's a basically, you can order tests on that too, like if providers
Oh,
wants to
yes.
use,
Yes, we talked about this.
yeah,
Yes.
labs, whatever. But they do have you can basically make food plan, and you can put, like, if the patient is gluten sensitive, if you want an anti-inflammatory diet, if you know how many calories you want the patients to eat, you plug it in and it will spit out Monday to Friday food plan.
Wow.
Amazing. And we will talk about, I love to read, so I brought a lot of
Yeah,
books.
let's talk about that. I want to talk about the books. Before we get into the book, so let's talk about some conferences
Okay.
and that's really where I want like some of these listeners like, even for my own self, like I want to go to things and I want to get involved with some of this and just to better knowledge myself because patients have questions. Like I'm all about like referring them to you. But
I know. I just got few last week, so thank you.
you're welcome.
I was like, who's sending you? Because
But as far as like just knowing about this and being out there with it and as providers we need to know what's going on. Otherwise if we don't, the YouTuber is going to teach them and then what did we do for ourselves?
yeah.
So tell us about conferences. What's
So, and there is a lot of conferences
yeah,
out there. Like they popping, everybody's
everywhere.
offering
Oh, it's
conferences.
a whole business in itself. It's like
So, regarding conferences,
mhm.
my absolute favorite one is CALM, which stands for Clinical Application for Longevity Medicine.
And where's that at?
It's done by New BioAge, and it's actually in Fort Lauderdale,
Okay.
Florida. We just had one last week in the new Omni Hotel, which was beautiful. And I did see some injectors there.
Good.
So that's a great conference. Mark your calendar. It's every February.
Every
So February
February.
2027 is the next one. Then there is Longevity Fest in April 11 and 12 in West Palm.
Mhm.
So right here,
Is that the A4M?
that's by A4M.
Okay. Longevity fast.
Longevity Fest, yeah.
Okay.
And Peptide World Conference, I believe it's in June 19 and 19, 20, and 21. That's
Okay.
done by SSRP. And this year is in Arizona. Thank God it's not in Vegas because I hate going to Vegas, but it's in
Yeah.
Arizona.
And that's the Peptide World Conference.
Yeah, and what's today is March 9. So if you hop on the plane tomorrow, you can go to Honolulu, Hawaii, and there is Cellular Medicine Mastermind. And that's which connects the aesthetics to cellular medicine. This is the first one that Dr. Seed's actually doing. It will be interesting. He talks about redox biology and tissue level communication. So yeah,
Is that always in Hawaii?
he does some of the masterminds in Hawaii. I'm not going, obviously I can be everywhere. I'm not going to this one, but I'm going to be listening virtually.
Oh, you can listen virtually.
Yes. So, I am, I joined a lot of membership
I
and it's
know.
worth like some of them. So let's talk about the membership. There is, so I am certified for peptide by SSRP,
SSRP.
which
Okay.
stands for Seed Scientific Research and Performance. And I am also pro member of the SSRP. So you have access to these masterminds.
Okay.
You can watch them. Dr. Seeds, that's podcast. There is a lot of informations like webinars you can watch. I am also a Nucleus Pro member with New BioAge, and I highly recommend to stay connected with the top minds in longevity.
Mhm.
So Nucleus basically gives practitioner private access to their scientific team.
Which one is that called?
Nucleus. It's by New BioAge.
Got
So when
it.
you go to
Nucleus.
newbioage.com, click on Nucleus
Mhm.
and become a member. So their scientific team is amazing. Like I've been with them since day one. I attended every single conference with New BioAge. So you have access to Dr. Yurth, which is huge. She's huge in longevity medicine. You have access to Dr. Jones, like CU, Dr. Wusterhausen, cardiologist. He's probably the only functional cardiologist I know, Dr. Hussein,
Wow.
pediatrician, Dr. Keller. And these people are brilliant. And, I learned so much from them. I still learning from them. And they want you to learn. Like
Right.
they created this community. I have their cell phone numbers.
Right.
Like I can, if I have question, I text them, and it's an amazing like community. And I also did longevity certification with New BioAge. So it's a certification that goes through different systems.
Mhm.
They dig deep. They provide you protocols. So that's one thing you can learn. And if someone is, new, like
Right.
you said, you want to learn
Yeah,
about
like where do you
peptides,
start?
and you need the foundation.
Right.
I highly recommend a course by my friend Ashley Madsen. She has a great course, and I like how she organized the course, so it's very easy to follow. This course can be found on peptidefoundation.lumara, Lumara, learn.com. And as a gift, I'm going to give you a discount code, $300.
Oh,
And you
nice.
can use my code Simona, Simona 300.
I'm gonna
So
do that.
yeah, it's I don't even know how many courses I took on peptides, but
And this is Ashley. What's her last name?
Ashley Madsen. And
Okay.
I don't know if we can link the link to your
Yeah,
podcast.
we can put it in the bio so people can, when
So
they download
yeah,
the
that's
episode, they
one thing.
yeah.
That's where you get the foundation. When you get the foundation, have and get certified. SSRP A4M has certifications.
But
And
that's her course. Like it's a course
it's
to
a
just
course you get certification from that too. But
yeah,
like the more national,
I know.
that's the big ones. I am also in the YDH Academy that with Lexi.
Lexi, yep. I did a course.
If you
I
don't know Lexi is like
She's awesome.
she's awesome. She
I gotta get her on the podcast.
yeah.
I've been following her for a long time. I'm trying to remember even how I even connected with her. And I did her hormone class. I mean, even that was just so surfaced because like there's just so much.
Yeah, and when I started peptides, like I came across Lexi, and it was very lone world out there. Nobody was talking about peptides.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of these people that I think we're talking on this episode too is like, really like the OGs of that whole field. I mean, we know aesthetics, we know injectables, we know who's, the OGs from the injectable side. Like these are the OGs from like this whole longevity side. Like
Yeah, and Lexi, so the YDH Academy, she has a lot of courses on hormones. She specializes in perimenopause.
yes.
Um,
Based out of Indiana.
yeah, India, yeah, and we meet every month. So it's a group of individuals from all over the country, and every
I
month we
love that.
discuss
Yeah.
something. So yeah, that's one thing, and that's basically so the books.
Yeah,
Let's
so
get to the
let's
books.
talk about the books now.
So I like to read. I read a book a week.
Oh my
My
gosh.
voice is going. Hold on, let me drink something.
I can't even get myself, yeah. I need a
Yeah.
I'm also need to get my
So
kids a little
if you
bit
want to learn
older.
about peptides, Peptide Handbook
Yeah.
by James Lavelle, and he's the main person for A4M. Great guide for therapeutic peptides. Counterclockwise. This is by Dr. Ferry.
Show the camera. Yep. Okay. Counterclockwise.
So
Uh-huh.
she has, she organizes by like energy, immune function, gut health. So you go by systems. So if you have problem with intestinal health, you go to the chapter and it's right there. Great book. Dr. Seeds, my favorite, Peptide Protocols, Volume 1. And then the last one is the Quantum Power of GLP-1 peptides. So this is whole book on GLP-1s. Dr. Seeds, oh my God, I have to read this book twice because it's so much.
So much.
So much. And, he goes into the cells but when you get it, and you will get it, it comes so easy. It will start flowing, and you will understand what CJC 1295 is, or you know all these other peptides like ipamorelin, sermorelin, tirzepatide, tesamorelin. Like there is so many that you will know what to use and when.
Right. Right. So, Simona, question for you. If a patient wants, and I'm doing this for patients and providers, if they want to come, where can they find you?
So right now I'm in Davie, Florida.
Mhm.
Hopefully, oh my God, hopefully I'm building a longevity clinic in Plantation. So hopefully I'll be there soon. You can find me on my website. That's where you can book appointment at deluciavitality.com.
Sure.
You can find me on my Instagram at deluciavitality, where I basically pouring my brain out, and somebody told me, you're giving so much information away for free.
You do. Because I was going to say, Simona, when are you going to start teaching and doing some maybe Zoom,
It's in
educational things?
plans.
Yeah.
I am. It's on my list, never ending list. Or you can call me 954-866-5794. I tell my patients I do not have a virtual assistant. I don't
It's
have
you.
AIs. I do need like 5 AIs, but I answer the phone, or I have people who will give me the message, because I believe, I want the real person on the other side.
Yeah,
Like when you have questions, you don't want to tell story and then find out it's
I
an
agree.
AI.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know.
So, any last minute things to wrap up this episode? I mean, we could talk here forever.
Well, oh, before I forget, consent. A lot of people ask me about peptide consent.
Oh, the consent forms. That's great.
So every peptide should have their own consent.
Every peptide,
Every
not
peptide.
just like one standard peptide. It's each peptide is.
Each peptide, yeah,
That's
and
good. That's
there
good to
is
know.
a play. I hear that. I don't know if I say it right. Lengea law. I don't know if you know about them. It's a law firm in New York, but they
Okay.
are licensed in 50 states.
Okay.
They do have consents a la carte. So you can join the membership,
Oh,
or you
interesting.
can go and set up a
So
consultation.
don't use chat for your consent forms.
Don't use ChatGPT. So there is a lot of opportunity to learn. Peptides are powerful tools, but they are not magic. They require screening, responsible sourcing, and lifestyle foundation.
So good. Oh my gosh, Simona, this episode was great. We needed this. We needed this on the Injector podcast. I hope that you guys learned a lot today. Our listeners, whether it's patients or providers, and Simona is available. We're gonna have all of her information in the bio for all of our listeners. And I think it was great. Thank you so much for coming again.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
having
It's
me.
always a pleasure. Until next time on the Injector podcast, guys. Bye.